Well, hello guys, welcome back. Somebody asked me something, and I think I might be feeding the trolls here because they asked twice, but provided they aren't, and I know you guys already saw the questions, let's have a go at it because there's a fox paw on one shoulder and there's a hand on the other, and I have a feeling we're doing this. One, I'm not an expert in any religion, nor do I claim to be, so they asked, could you mix Buddhism and heathenry in your spiritual practice? Why not? As long as you're not going to try to go join the most heathen group of heathens to ever heathen, or the most aesthetic Buddhist temple, you're going to be fine. The vast majority of people on this planet that say they practice a religion practice on their own or in small groups. They don't go end up joining, a group either way. Vast majority of people practice that way. And he said it honestly depends because, it's a hard question to answer. What do they mean by Buddhism? Do they mean the American style that we have over here of being, we get a statue of the Buddha? I have my mom's over here. And we think good thoughts and we think happy thoughts. Sometimes we look at some of the amazing stories and maybe we light incense or crystals or something, and it's really not Buddhism, but it makes us happy. Or do they mean, strict go to be in a temple, live a vegetarian, very, minimalistic lifestyle? There's a huge difference between the two. One is something that we do because it makes us feel good and it's the right level for us, and one is the right level for someone else. So if you're going to go into a Buddhist temple, you would honestly have to ask another priest about that. I would have no earthly idea. Um, Same thing if you're going into heathenry. What exactly do you mean about heathenry? There are atheists who call themselves heathens and dress up in fancy costumes and hold rituals and everything, yet they don't believe a damn thing they're doing. And there are people that believe you have to do everything just so, and there are people that, they construct their own traditions. There's the Northern paganism tradition, there's Northern Wicca, or whatever they call it. There's like all these flavors out there, and they all make up their own. And you have to be willing to admit this. They all make up their own will of the year. They all make up their own traditions, songs, stories, chants. They all usually heavily, heavily, heavily rely on UPG, which you have to understand. So, except for the Reconstructionists that go to the lore only, and if you can't show them lore, the gods help you. But the person's main problem was that they couldn't see having these gods of war, as they're referring to the heathen gods, the northern pagan gods, and Buddhism gel together, which is why they keep circling out of heathenry and back into Buddhism and back into heathenry. So, there's something they need in both, obviously. That's what I'm going to take from it. And I went to the two extremes. I looked on Reddit, and there are people that blend heathenry and Buddhism. You're not going to be able to put a trademark on it and call it pure heathenry. You're not certainly going to be able to call it pure Buddhism, but who really cares as long as you're happy and fulfilled and you're getting good results. And I went and I read the article of, oh god, I can't even remember the name, but he was going to become a Buddhist priest. So who would better know, whether you can mix the two? And he talks about, seeing so many people leave heathenry and they will even claim the god sent them out. As Odin has recently shoved me out the door and then kind of lets me wander back in. And even though I'm using the word heathen, he has not actually given me the thumbs up. He's just kind of looking at me, and I don't even know if I'm home or not. So I'm like, I'm living on borrowed time here, man. I don't know what my ultimate fate will be. It's down to the old man. And it's a thing of he sees why people leave heathenry because there's this huge gap in the middle. We don't have songs handed down. We don't have rituals handed down. We don't have a book of 2,000 years of religious tradition handed down. We don't have an idea of what anything looked like. We can reconstruct, but that's a poor substitute for having someone be able to say, yes, this is how we have done it for hundreds or thousands of years. We don't have that. And so there's this hollowness because we don't have. There are 5 billion magical tradition books out there, but these aren't the ancient traditions of our ancestors. There are 5 billion books out there to tell you the right way to read the runes, but we don't know. Everything is reconstructed, which is why a lot of people are very unhappy because we usually come from a Judeo-Christian or other background that believes in doing things the right way. Yeah, there's one way to do things in Christianity, and you will find out pretty damn soon if you do it the wrong way. You will have a book to go to, and you will have a priest to go to, and you will have 50 billion other Christians telling you no, 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 no. So you will find out pretty fast. Um, we don't have that in heathenry. You don't actually have it in most cases in Buddhism. Asking me about Buddhism is kind of, I will go to Japanese form of Buddhism, which is distinctly different from where it's practiced anywhere else, because what I love about the Japanese approach to Buddhism and Shinto is there's a long, painful history there you might not be happy to read about. But basically, the Japanese people recovered from the painful part where one religion was trying to destroy the other, and this was all based on the governments. But everything's fine. As long as you are being a sincere believer, most Buddhist priests aren't going to tell you no about anything. There are Buddhist shrines that have dolls for children. They're not going to tell people no. Shinto priests care about you doing things the right way, on the other hand. Shinto priest doesn't care if you believe, just do things the right way. So go in, do the proper things, greet the kami. They don't care if you believe or not. They're happy. They saw you do the right thing. They're happy. They'll leave you alone. They don't care what your personal beliefs are. Buddhists don't want to discourage any of your beliefs. So if you went to a Buddhist priest and you sincerely believed you wanted to have the northern gods and you couldn't do their tradition, well, they would have you meditate in a temple and they would have you, ask for guidance. The thing is, it depends on how far down the path of Buddhism you go. In Japan, it's perfectly acceptable to believe in the kami as real individuals, to believe in the gods as real individuals, the gods of Buddhism. But you wouldn't get that acceptance in other parts of the world. So it's, and even if people are Buddhists from other parts of the planet, like say, like in China and places like that, they don't believe the Buddha is divine, but they will pray to him. They don't believe Jesus is divine in a sense, in the same sense Christians would, but they'll pray to him, so forth, so on. So if they were introduced to heathen gods, there is a chance that they might pray to them and they might get results. That's going to put a burr under everybody's saddle, but as far as I can see, the gods care at least much in my thing that you're doing the right thing by your standards. Not by the standards of Joe Heathen or Judy Buddhist, but your standards. You have to have your own, figure out where are your own ethics. Not where are the ethics you think you should have, where are the ethics that you think would make the gods proud of you. What are your own actual personal ethics? What is your sense of right and wrong? What is your sense of the gods? And then go to the sense of the gods and think, why do I have that sense? This person has a sense that the gods are very warlike. And I said, well, if it makes you feel any better, a lot of that's, Brawlhalla stuff. The vast majority of the ancestors that would have practiced with these gods would have been farmers. Vast majority of people would have been farmers, having a farm, so they could live from year to year, and so they can eat. Or people in other parts of the related cultures would have been hunters and gatherers, or they would have been mystics or something like that. Vast majority of people didn't go to war, so they would have interacted very differently with the gods than, say, a warrior. And I said, even today, the vast majority of us, unless we enlist, will never see war. We never, because there are people who are willing to enlist, we will never see war. We will never encounter a battle in our life, hopefully. And, there's nothing wrong with admitting to that. And it doesn't do us any good to fall into that Brawlhalla mindset of we all have to go to war, we all have to suffer and die, we all have to serve Odin. Some people can't stand Odin, so they shouldn't serve him in the first place. And, Valhalla will always have enough warriors, as, many people have gotten the impression off Odin. Valhalla will always have enough warriors, and we don't know. Was that a reconstruction? Even at the time it was written, was Ragnarok something made up by a Christian writer? We don't know. So, you have to do what makes you feel good. You have to find what path works for you. If it's a blend of Buddhism and heathenry, if it's working with, some people end up working with demons, or some people end up working with angels and saints. Find what works for you, and you'll just know. You might have hang-ups, but talk to whomever you're working with. If you're working with the Buddha, pray to the Buddha for guidance. If you're working with Kami, because I have a more Japanese bent, pray to the Kami for guidance. If you're working with the Norse gods, pray to the Norse gods for guidance. And they're usually not going to care as long as you're happy, as long as you're content. You're going to find groups of humans that care very much how you do things. You're going to find groups of humans that will say that it's an insult to the All-Father and the gods that if you aren't 100% pure heathen and you aren't doing it this way. But the heathen groups can't even agree. And keep in mind, these groups are of the same age of Wicca. It's not this ancient pedigree. I know they like to pretend there's this ancient pedigree, like people that practice with mostly Egyptian gods will tell you with a straight face that these gods have been worshipped unbroken for thousands of years. We have all the ancient traditions. And Vestets in the corner going, hee hee. No, we don't. People will swear we do, but we don't. We don't even have the original flavor of Christianity, if it makes you feel any better. We have no idea. We have a lot of ideas of what it looked like, but what they actually privately believed in their hearts of hearts, we have no idea. We just know it was a lot of fighting and a lot of power grabbing, and that it was a lot of borrowing from other religions to form this new religion, because Jesus never said, form a religion around me. He just said, do as I do, and you'll have all these cool super healing powers too. Never once did he say, you know what I want you to do? Build a religion around me, have a mega church. He never said that. So if Jesus came back today, he'd be looking at these mega churches that are selling $20,000 cloths of green or whatever that are supposed to cure cancer in his name, and he would shake his head. Then hopefully he would blight them. But I'm getting yay back here. You can do what you want. I came from a Roman Catholic background, went into every various flavor of Christianity because I swore I had a calling, and I couldn't imagine being a subservient nun, so I wanted to become a priest, and you can't become a priest, at least you couldn't at the time. And then I ended up in Wicca and everywhere else in the world. So, maybe I'm not the best person to ask, but, those are my 2 cents. Take what you can use and leave the rest behind. So, if you like what you see, like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys later. Bye-bye.